I'm about to, okay, should I wait for you? Oh, no, you can just come on, Cherokee. Okay, so this stream is serious. This is not like before where I was just aimlessly on here. Let me get things adjusted. I just sat back down. I tried to do live stream on my phone to co-host Cherokee. I tried to do it outside, but it just wouldn't work. So let me lift my chair up. There. This is a serious stream. Hi, Doug, again, because my friend Cherokee, well, we're new friends. She was in a previous stream, the last one actually. She was the one who, toward the end of my stream, had information that she wanted to share. But first, I wanted to, like, you know, no offense to her, like, I didn't even know her. I just wanted to find out the legitimacy or lack thereof before publicizing anything, and it is all legitimate. Evidence, screenshots, all that can't be argued. It's factual. So I'm about to have her on. It deals with the stepdad of Katelyn Nicole Davis. Some of it might be a surprise to you, to some of you. Some of it might not be a surprise. It wasn't a surprise to me, but it's still gross. So, and it just goes to show that he should be in trouble. I was actually just watching a Forensic File episode last night where a doctor, like 5 years of this woman trying to get him in trouble for sedating her and taking advantage of her in his care. They also, following those 5 years, eventually found out that he had been sedating his stepdaughter and molesting her too. So, I mean, it's never too late. So, okay, so Cherokee's here. All right, Cherokee, I'm going to guess you now. Are you ready? Trying to figure out if I should, yeah, I gotta have the light. You're ready? Okay. Oh, it says 0 guess. So if you're unfamiliar with how to guest, I think you have to click on like guest queue, and then you'll pop up, and then I can guest you. But right now it says that I don't have anybody in my guest queue. So I'm just waiting on you to pop up in the guest queue. No rush though, no rush. Hi, I miss Katelyn. It is so good to see you, and your picture of Katelyn is your picture. It makes me feel like Katelyn's in here. So, hi, Anthony. Good to see you too. It really is good to see you. So right now I'm just waiting on Miss Cherokee to appear in the guest chat. In the guest queue. There she is. Okay, I'm gonna guest her now. Sorry if you've been waiting a long time. All right, make guest. It says connecting.
Okay, there you are.
Hi, Cherokee.
Hi.
I like your hair.
Thank you. I don't like it. It's horrible.
My son would like it too. He likes pink hair.
Yeah, I saw he had blue hair.
Yeah. And he likes like blue, purple, and basically non-human colors.
That's me. Oh, I've been thinking about how to say everything. There's a lot.
I can kind of give like a summary of. So this is Cherokee. We added each other on Facebook because she came into my previous live stream with some information. She is also a mother, not that it really matters, but I think it does matter actually because like she really cares for the well-being of children and like so what she's about to tell, like what she experienced, um, could impact other children because this man, who she's gonna talk about, still has access to children and he still is free. He hasn't gotten in trouble for anything, and she has been very smart and on the down low with a lot of what she's about to say. So, and it deals with Katelyn Nicole Davis. So,
It's should I say his name or shouldn't I? I don't know.
I don't think it. I mean, it's not like right now he's, to my knowledge, not being appropriately investigated. So, like, I don't really think it would like impede on anything.
Okay. So her stepdad, Anthony Rogers, I I'm notorious for getting feedback from her family. That's how so many people on the internet hate me because I did lash out at Tammy. And I was like, you killed your daughter, you killed. I've since apologized. And I sent the same kind of message to Anthony. And he messaged me back trying to prove himself to me. Like, he's like, no, 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 I didn't do any of that. Let me to just, let's video chat. Well, here's my number, call me. And he just nonstop messaged me on Facebook. And I realized he was hitting on me. And by the end of it, he asked me how old I was. And I was like, well, I'm 16. And he was like, you're 16? I was like, yeah. And he's like, wow, well, I'll talk to you later. And so he kept talking to me, and long story short, he asked me for nudes.
Okay, so
So,
and I saw screenshots of all this, by the way. This isn't just hearsay. The police would easily be able to trace his IP address, and they would see that this was, in fact, him on his own personal computer or phone. So this is not just her saying this for attention. If anything, she's been keeping this hidden, if you will, for quite a while. So she's not just doing, this is her trying to expose what kind of person he really is. And she didn't even really set out for him. Like, she didn't like, she's not a puppeteer. She didn't make him do all this. This was him being his creepy, perverted self. So sorry.
and one thing that um, I do recognize is like he told me that he hasn't been questioned by the police about Katelyn. And that's the one thing that he said to me that I did believe because I questioned him a lot
Mm-hmm.
and I caught him in lie after lie after lie. And I'm not a police officer. I don't know how to properly interrogate somebody. So I think if you were to put him in a room with some police officers and they interrogate him for 3 hours, the truth is going to come out. And that's all they have to do. But they're not, I don't understand why they're not doing it.
Right. So what makes you believe him when I mean, I know what you mean because like so far all I've heard is people saying they think he's been investigated. I haven't heard any solid proof of that. What made you feel like he was telling the truth about that?
I only think he's telling the truth about that because the kind of test that, I mean, I never believed that he was innocent. I've always believed Katelyn, but asking him questions, he just made lie after lie after lie, and he'd have to make another lie to come up with this lie. And, like, for example, he said, I've got a kid on the way, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, what does that have to do with the allegations against you that Katelyn made that, you molested her? And he said, well, can I be really honest with you? And if there's kids watching, you need to like earmuffs because this is really disgusting and bad language. But he said, and I quote, my dick doesn't work. And um, I'm like, you just said that you have a kid on the way. And he's like, well, use your imagination.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I would rather not. That's especially when it comes to you. Why don't you just tell me what you're talking about? And he's like, well, have you heard of in vitro fertilization? I'm like, yeah, I've heard of that. Do you know it costs 5 figures? He's like, five. He said, 5 figures? It costs $10,000. I'm like, that's a 5 figure number, buddy. He's not smart. He if he were to talk to a police officer, they would get his ass. And that's why I believe he hasn't been questioned.
I want to know why Caitlyn's autopsy, why they didn't follow through with that, because, like, you know what I mean, in regards to sexual things. And I've heard that they have, and then I've heard that they haven't. But so back to how Anthony was talking to you. When is the last time you spoke to him, and what was like the last thing that y'all said?
He sent me a friend request, and I was actually in the middle of talking to Courtney on Facebook. We were talking to each other. I don't remember what it's about. We normally talk um, just about random things. And he sent me a friend request, and I was like, oh my God. And I screenshot it and I sent it to Courtney, and she's like, is that from like today? And I'm like, it's from 5 seconds ago. And then he messaged me and said he was leaving Georgia. And I was like, are you coming to Oklahoma? And he said, I don't know, we'll talk. And I said, okay. He said, no more bullshit. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. And then I said, and then I showed Courtney, and she's like, doesn't he have a girlfriend? And I messaged him. I'm like, don't you have a girlfriend? And he quit talking to me. So that was, I want to say a month ago.
How could he even have a girlfriend? I mean, is she completely like blind to the internet? Like, is she
She's
not aware?
17.
She's 17. Is
She's
there
17.
like, okay, and why hasn't that been made privy to the police?
I have no idea.
Because
I have no idea.
like people, we all want to blame somebody, and like, I mean, okay, Luke is definitely a pedophile. He's disgusting. He broke up with her, but I mean, a lot of that, yeah. Not justifying what he did. He's definitely horrible. He also needs to be in trouble. I don't understand why he hasn't been in trouble, because he's also still preying on young girls. And then, Tammy was negligent stuff. There are a lot of negligent moms out there that he was the one that told her to hang herself. He would buy the rope. You're worthless. You're a whore. Kill yourself while touching her. I feel like I have, if I were in Caitlin's position, being told those things by a man who my mother was in love with, that would really mind F me more than any of the other things, any of the other antagonists in Caitlin's life.
Well,
So,
and that's another thing about him is that all of the characteristics are there. He's a psychopath. Or not a
compulsive.
psychopath. He's a sociopath more than a psychopath. Um, because if you couldn't tell by the messages, what he thought he was doing was grooming me.
Mm-hmm.
And like asking me for pictures. And when I'd send him one, he's like, that's not what I meant. And I'd send him another one, of course, not being a nude.
But they were
And
I noticed that the pictures that you sent were you looked very innocent and sweet, and then they were like, I don't know how to describe it, you know what I mean? Like you looked like you could be 15 in those pictures.
yeah. And he would like pretend like he wasn't going to talk to me if I didn't give him what he wanted. So, and it didn't work with me. He always came back. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's what he did to Caitlyn was, if you don't give me what I want, you're fucking worthless and you're nothing and you should just kill yourself. So I do believe that he said those things to her because of the things he said to me. I believe these prior to the things he said to me.
Oh, after what too, Debbie told me about how he would like threaten Tammy if she left. There was the classic domestic violence, but even worse than what I've heard of, because he wouldn't even sometimes let Tammy leave the house. He would threaten like near death stuff if Tammy was to leave him. And I believe that because she was very specific. So that's him. So I don't understand why Polk County, because when I called it Polk County, gosh, this would have been, it was either February or March. My perception of time is really bad. And when I brought up Anthony, he said, the people you've mentioned, we are following through with due diligence. That's all he kept saying. That's it. He wouldn't elaborate, which I know I'm not like in the family or anything like that. But it's now almost, it's going to be 2018 before we know it. And this dude's just walking around lying, and he has access to children, and he's a known pedophile. What he was saying to you, there's evidence of. Didn't you say that we don't have to say her name, but didn't you say that a mutual friend of ours did contact Polk County already with your evidence?
Say what?
Didn't you say that a mutual friend of ours already contacted Polk County with your evidence, and that Polk County
Yes,
hasn't, right, and they
yes,
haven't
she
even,
did. Yes, she did. Or she told me she did, which I believe her. So,
and
um,
do you know if they've even acknowledged it or,
she said she hasn't heard anything back the last I spoke to her.
okay. Um,
So,
So yeah, you guys, our suspicions are confirmed. Anthony is indeed a pedophile. I already knew Katelyn wasn't lying. Cherokee already knew Katelyn wasn't lying, which is what even compelled her to even entertain whatever Anthony had to say, because she's smart and she knew that he would dig himself his own hole. So now what do we do? Because justice certainly hasn't been served in even a slight way right now. And Anthony, in my opinion, the number one antagonist, is just living his life. This is where I think people, when people get mad, I know men get really mad at Luke because he was being a pervert on the internet and luring young girls. But when it comes to stuff that caused hatred in Katelyn, that made her have self-hatred, was how he would not only touch her sexually, but then he'd call her a whore. Tell her to imagine if you've got a father figure saying, I'll buy the rope. I'll buy the rope for you to hang yourself, you worthless whore. Over and over at 12 years old. That is, to me, I don't know how any Tammy is being as bad as that. And then they say, well, she was allowing it. Well, I don't, who's to say that Tammy knew he was saying those things? When Katelyn did tell Tammy that he touched her sexually, it's documented that she did contact the police about that. This is where the police failed. The police never interviewed Anthony. They never interviewed Katelyn. It was less than 30 days after she contacted police that Katelyn took her life. A lot of that to blame. I mean, he's a big man in threatening them in this trailer. I've been in a domestic situation before. I was in a shack on a junkyard. I mean, you don't. She probably thought Katelyn and her could get killed because of what he was saying. So in her eyes, not making him leave, like when he came down Christmas, according to Tammy's mother, that was out of fear. So I don't know how anybody can't see Anthony as like the number one antagonist, and that is why I feel like he should be. I feel like if Katelyn could speak right now, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, and forgive me if this sounds tacky to say, but I really do feel like she would want him out of everyone to be the most in trouble for her pain that she was experiencing. I feel like people underestimate the pain that he inflicted on her with his words. I feel like they underestimate the power of his words. I will buy the rope. Hang yourself, you worthless whore. And then touching her over and over. And then this was the same man that in certain videos when she'd be singing, he'd say, come out here, be a human, come sing for us. So that's a super mind F, because then you've also got him acting like he cares about her and values her talents and stuff, and then the next day calling her a worthless whore. That's because at least, if he was just always mean, then it would be like, okay, this is the devil. But when he's acting
because
like
he's a sociopath.
right. And that was smart of you to distinguish sociopath from psychopath, because psychopaths are not charming. They don't know how to play nice. They're just usually kind of crazy and violent at all times and have a horrible criminal record. But he's a sociopath, like you said, because he can keep the crazy.
He wants to appear charming and wants to appeal to you and wants your approval, but at the same time, he has a very hidden agenda and he's very manipulative and he lies. All the characteristics are there, but he's not smart enough to get away with it. He
Right.
is by far the stupidest sociopath I have ever come in contact with.
Well, my friend Ron actually made a good point, because there is this misconception that sociopaths, since they tend to be cunning, there's this misconception that they're intelligent. And actually, they're usually not when it comes to like how people tick. Like right now, you could just play, like you could pretend like you're being duped by and believing all of his lies, and he would be too dumb to realize that you're just pretending. Like all they want.
He's not smart. He is stupid.
Yeah. So, like you said, that would be a perfect candidate for the police to interview, because he would dig himself his own grave. So now I guess what's the next step? Like we can lead the horse to water, but we can't make it drink. We can call Polk County. We can shove the evidence in their eyeballs, and I mean they're ignoring it. I don't know why. To my knowledge, they still haven't even, after the tragic shooting of Katelyn's original investigator, they still haven't even replaced one. And I understand that it's hard to staff somebody that fast. But it has been weeks now. I know it's a small town, but this is a 12-year-old girl who hung herself. And I still, too, there were videos, there were live streams that were missing. There's been evidence that, the one telling her to hang herself, right before she hung herself, got on her Facebook page. I have no doubt in my mind certain messages were deleted. I have no doubt in my mind that the streams that were deleted, he might have deleted. And so why has Polk County not gotten an electronic type forensic expert person to retrieve those? There's no telling what could be said on those things. Like, there might be him in the background telling her to hang herself because she was recording. Isn't it convenient that the only things that are left are of Tammy? Why isn't there any? Anthony was in there a lot. Like, why do we not hear anything damning of Anthony? I find that too coincidental. So the fact that Polk County has yet to retrieve anything, like, this is 2017. Yeah, I mean, I know that maybe they're not funded as best as they could be, but they could contact Atlanta, and Atlanta might take over. They might help since this is a serious thing.
I don't think they're taking it as serious because it was a suicide and not a murder. But this is a child that committed suicide. There's obviously something wrong.
Right.
That's
What is it called? I normally, when it's like murder, but it's not direct murder. It's what is it?
assisted suicide.
Well, that too, but it starts with an M. It's
Manslaughter?
yes. I almost see it like emotional manslaughter. What he was doing and saying every day to a 12-year-old. And the fact that the police kept ignoring it. And also, too, if you're under 18 and you start something like Prozac, you're supposed to be closely monitored, especially the first couple weeks. That was not happening. If the doctor failed to tell Tammy to closely monitor while on the Prozac, that's the doctor's fault also. Like, you can watch, if you watch the streams, you notice the changes in her pupils, you notice the changes in her energy level, her appetite, her attitude. There's a lot of, like, on edge, like, self-loathing, just, it's something that should have been closely monitored. And she was 12 anyway.
Courtney's on here. She said, and that is what Anthony said. Not that I merit anything that he says to be worth anything, but he did say that he moved out in November and that he wasn't in the home. But Katelyn says he was there for Christmas, and in one of her online diary things, and Anthony flat out denies that. He changed up the dates like 3 or 4 times, said he saw her on the 12th just to drop off some presents. And then he saw her the day after Christmas just to drop off some presents. He changes everything. He can't keep up with the lies that he tells.
I do think there's a big chance that he sporadically would come over because that's part of the control on the power wheel that you learn about with domestic stuff. I do feel like he was popping over at random times just to be him. And I do feel like there's a huge chance that he was online asking Katelyn stuff or talking to Katelyn. Hence, again, why he might have gotten on her account and deleted things. And I don't feel like he just poof vanished. I do not think that. And then just came over on Christmas. Or I don't think that. That's
Courtney said they met in a park for Christmas. He did not come on the property. Witnesses corroborated that statement.
Okay, well, I still feel like he was in communication with her. There's no component that he would have gotten on Katelyn's page when he could have just gotten on his own. There's no reason. He had his own Facebook page. He could have easily joined those threads and said stuff, but he chose to get on Katelyn's.
Well, his overall theory that came piece by piece, that I had to pull out of him within talking to him for a week, his overall theory, it seemed like, was he left, he moved out, and that's when she came up with these allegations that he molested her because she did not want him to come back because he wouldn't let her have a phone. He wouldn't let her on the internet. That
Well,
was his theory.
she had already been posting online way before that about how my stepdad touches me. So that right there knocks that out of the water. And secondly, I believe Katelyn. She didn't strike
Yeah.
me as the type who BS'd. She was very candid, and she even said some self-deprecating things that wouldn't look good on herself. So I don't think she would have made that up. He also has been proven to be preying on young girls based on your evidence. And I don't think she made up the stuff about go hang yourself and all that. I'll buy you the rub. It's too detailed. I'll buy you the rub. Go hang yourself, you worthless whore. She was also specific about where he touched her in the pool. Um, I've noticed some people who do make it up. They always just say they just say that they did it. But she even said he tried to get in my pants, like he tried to touch her, and she didn't exaggerate anything. Like, I have no reason to think that she made it up. And he's just lucky that right now they can't really prove whether or not he touched her. But as far as the emotional manslaughter, I do feel like he told her to hang herself, I'll buy you the rope, you worthless whore, on more than one occasion. And I think it had possibly been live streamed, and I think he possibly deleted it.
Yeah. Some people think that he watched her suicide video, but every time he's like, "Oh, I never watched that. Please don't talk about that. I'll answer any other question you have. Just don't talk about the suicide video." And I mean, he referred to her as my daughter, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter. And I'm like, "Did you go to her funeral?" He's like, "No, I couldn't go because I was getting death threats if I went." And
Good.
he never really went into specifics about that.
I just feel like that they need to do investigating of all of his electronic devices, any computer he's been on, any phone. And I mean, like, I don't mean like at a library. I mean like that he was regularly using. They need to retrieve anything that's been deleted, and I think they'll get some stuff. I really do, because like Anthony P said, correct. I'd like to know how he got into her account. For me, I'd like to know why he got into her account. I mean, Tammy didn't get on her
He
account.
told me that her Facebook was linked to his phone because he paid for it all.
Well, I find it he sure has an answer for everything. Well, then how come
Yeah.
on the previous days he wasn't on her account then? Why? Why just that day?
Didn't he say when he got into her account that like Tammy killed her or something?
Do what?
On her account, didn't he say that Tammy killed her or something
Yeah,
when he
that's what
was
he
on
said.
her account?
He said Tammy killed her, and then I guess he meant it like metaphorically because he was like, with all of her drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
And to me, that also showed guilt. Like, if your immediate reaction to someone killing themselves is he's basically throwing her under the bus. I feel like that was because he knew that what he kept saying to her, she finally did. And it was like, oh no, well, and yeah, while Tammy had a pill addiction and would have guys come over, according to Caitlin, and get money for pills, and when did we really see Tammy? Not that often, which shows that there was also physical negligence going on. I mean,
He, Courtney said he was seeking answers and wanted to see what Tammy had done to her. Who told you that? Because he told me something different.
he said he was seeking answers and wanted to see what Tammy had done to her. Please, I don't believe that. I don't
He
believe that.
told me something different.
I'm
So
not saying I don't believe you, Courtney. I'm saying I don't believe what Anthony posted it. Okay, well, that's consider the source. That doesn't.
that's two different lies that he's made up because he's telling me one thing and he's posting another because I didn't see that post.
I believe Caitlyn.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I've always known he was guilty, but I've been pretending to humor him.
And there are other relatives too who said, weren't they like cousins of Caitlyn's around her age who also said that he touched them? They also said he touched them, I mean.
I hadn't heard anything about that.
It was in one of her streams when some cousins came over, and I could have sworn Courtney said, I believe
I
Ash.
think that sounds familiar.
You believe Abby was also molested? Is that what you're saying, Courtney?
I think all three of them were.
Daphne's children. That's right, when they came over in that stream. Yeah. This is just so frustrating because, like you said, it's because it's a suicide, but it's also, too, I think, because of the economical status. Like, I think if it was like a Natalie, because with Natalie Holloway, they didn't know who did anything. They didn't have any direct evidence at all to that guy. What was his name? The one that they think killed Natalie Holloway. He's in jail for. Didn't start with a J. He's in jail right now for other things, but they still tried all in their power to find him guilty. They were like looking at all of his electronic stuff. They were trying to dig up anything they could. And I think it's because Natalie came from money. She was from like Mountain Home or Mountain Brook or something, Alabama, which is like one of the richest cities in Alabama. And that's what I think. I think that's why. I mean, they even made movies about it, and there wasn't even there wasn't even the damning evidence that there is in Katelyn's situation. And it doesn't matter that Anthony didn't go put her on the rope. When you're 12 years old, you are so, impressionable. Like, he was molding and shaping the thought processes while she was starting that Prozac that led to her last breath. Okay, and I don't care what anybody else says. That's how I feel about Anthony. And I don't care if his body wasn't there in the trailer that last day or for 30 days before Christmas or whatever. I still know that someone that controlling, based on the evidence I've heard, I still know he was popping in and out and stuff in Messenger and things like that. I have no doubt in my mind.
Well, him and Tammy, I can tell you, are still in contact because every time I was on the phone with him, he'd be like, hold on, I got a text from Tammy.
I don't know if he's telling the truth, though, about that. Like, I'm not saying that, I don't know.
He does pay her child support, so I mean, they would have to stay in touch for at least that.
Oh, he does pay her child support? I didn't know that.
Or he showed me a ticket or a receipt for child support. He may have just paid it one time, but I don't know.
Why did he show you that? What was he trying to prove? That he pays child
I don't know. I think he was trying to, because that's the first thing he did was send me a video of the ticket of child support. He's like, I paid child support, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Courtney said he pays her crumbs. That would go to the state now. Oh, yeah, because the kids aren't there.
Yeah, I think the receipt was like for $100.
Hold on one second. I'm going to find a way to move the stream. There we go. Hold on. I mean, you can keep talking. I'm just doing something with my windows.
That would go to the state. No. I'm glad Courtney's here.
Me too.
Because she does help a lot with information that I forget about.
Same here. And I feel like she's on top of everything at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want to call Polk County and I want to ask them, like, if they have done anything in terms of, like, investigating electronic stuff, but I just feel like they're just going to blow me off and they're just going to tell me because I'm not family. They can't tell me that. But I want to know. Because that could really, I mean, if they have in writing or something or streams retrieved that show all that, I mean, how can you torment somebody emotionally like that and just get away with it? I mean, that boy who killed himself, that girl and she was a really young girl, got convicted. She has to spend some jail time for telling him to kill himself. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So why would she get off? And they haven't even looked into Anthony.
Yeah. There's just a lot of stuff that ever since Katelyn committed suicide, there has been just all kinds of confusion and rumors, and it's probably hard for the police to weed out what's true and what's not true. But I mean, like you said, this is pretty much concrete evidence. And
Hmm.
if they want to confiscate my phone and look at his Facebook, they can go ahead and do that.
Right. I feel like if there is confusion, it's because the police they haven't been public about anything concrete. Like they do have facts right now. I mean, they do have stuff they're speculating on, but they do have facts. They haven't made any of those public. I mean, they know that there's a big following right now for Katelyn, especially online, and they like I guess either well maybe they don't know. I don't know, but they fail to let the public know anything about her, so it's kind of like up to us to just figure it out for ourselves.
Well, we can't arrest people, and that's the problem.
Yeah. And like with Luke Callahan, I mean, there's concrete
So,
evidence there.
so my take on that as is like, have you ever seen To Catch a Predator?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they did a sting operation in Georgia. One of their houses, their DCs was in Georgia. People would come from other states where the laws may be different, but you're violating a Georgia law and now you're in Georgia and you're getting arrested. So I don't know if he could be transferred from wherever he's at to Georgia, if that's possible.
Do you know for a fact that he's not in Georgia?
I'm talking about Luke.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So even though he may or may, I don't know where it would be legal to show stuff like that to a minor, to be honest. But if some law conflicts with the Georgia law, it doesn't matter. He should be extradited from wherever he is.
Right. And I think that could easily happen. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, usually these predators are preparing if they do get caught to escape, go somewhere else that does, and unless they go leave the country, like they can be found.
Yeah. um, Another story that Anthony came up with was he worked all night, came home, slept all day, got up at night, worked all night, and so him and Katelyn hardly saw each other when he lived there, even though he said he got a check for having cancer. Just a
I
lot
don't
of
really
conflicting.
I mean, I don't really see why that would matter. Like, because it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality or the intensity, rather, of what he's saying or doing to her. I mean, people who get raped, they usually didn't see the rapist every single day before they got raped. It usually was a random event that doesn't take away the intensity and the impact and the the trauma of the rape. I mean, so I don't really, even if he's telling the truth about that, that doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
and if he was
Well,
innocent,
no,
he wouldn't even feel the need to say things like that. Like, he would just be like, look, I didn't. Like, it really sucks that this is what it seems like, okay? I mean, but the fact that he's pulling all these little, I don't know, it sounds like to me too much like he's trying to, and again, I know Caitlyn didn't lie, so that's,
he's not innocent. There's no doubt in my mind. Like 110. I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
yeah.
That dude is a liar and he's guilty of what he's being accused of.
Courtney just said the detective told me there was more on Caitlyn's side of Luke's story than we know. Well, I'm not surprised about that. Can you say what? Or did the detective say what, like, specifically was more on Caitlyn's side of Luke's story? Do you know if in Georgia, if it's a one-party consent state or a two-party consent? Like, if I wanted to call up and record a conversation, like would I have to have their consent also? And this isn't about calling Anthony or Tammy or anybody in Georgia like that. This is about talking to law enforcement. Or would it be smarter to let them know I'm recording? Like, because I really I want to ask them everything we've talked about, and I want to know what the heck.
Well, another thing that I really, really just cannot stand is I'm glad that it blew up like it did. I'm glad that there's a lot of attention on it, but you got the stupid people out there, you got the wackos that take stuff and fabricate and twist it and turn it into something else that completely starts another rumor. And people who are open-minded and are trying to learn things about the case, it gets intertwined with their actual knowledge. And I mean, people like what's that dude's name? He messaged me not too long ago. He was that Baisley guy.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah. He didn't like me too much. But a lot of people don't like me because of the Tammy thing. And that guy put so much stuff out there that is not true. And I understand he's on Tammy's side where he says that he is, but he just makes up a lot of stuff. And he's not the only one that does that.
Yeah, I think that's common with any high profile thing. It brings out like the darkest of humanity. And like you said, some people do it for attention. Some people will make up stuff so people are lured to them as a news source or something. But and that's what I like about Courtney, is she's just sticks to the facts. She's very matter of fact. There's no drama. Like, it's just, it is what it is. If she doesn't know
Even
something,
though she gets attacked constantly.
yeah. And I don't. Tony's just a distraction. That's all he is. I don't know what his reasons for distracting are. I just know he's a distraction. I was recently told that he suffers from alcoholism and heroin addiction. If that's the case, then I don't need to say anymore. That would have a lot to do with why when he gets on the computer, it's like he probably doesn't even know half of what he says. So, some huge last straw took place. She was in a fine mood earlier. I agree, and that's where I think that there was some conversation. I think a conversation took place on the computer. I don't know if it was with Luke or Anthony, or both, but our opinions do not get justice. That's true. Facts, facts like that deal with Miss Cherokee, and facts that deal with Anthony could at least let one of her main antagonists get in at least some trouble. We must stick to the facts, right? No, federal law applies for recording interstate. One party. Okay, so it is one party. I just wonder if there would be like a specific law though for recording law enforcement, because I could see them being like, yeah, but there's an exception for law enforcement.
I don't know. Do we even know if they have someone else assigned for Caitlin's case yet, or
Is there someone else assigned yet, Courtney? Because the last time I spoke to you, you said there wasn't yet. Yesterday, not yet. Okay. So she spoke to someone yesterday, and no, there still is not anyone yet. So that's dumb.
Mhm.
So
But
what do y'all think? I mean, should I call? Like, I want to call.
I did call Polk County and they told me that they don't know who Caitlin is. There's no investigation on her. There's no investigation on her death. There's no evidence of her death. They don't know who she is. And I told this to Courtney, and it may have been wires getting crossed about, I'm like, she's this girl that committed suicide and they're investigating um, leading up to her suicide. They may have thought that I was talking about investigating her death
Yeah.
instead of all of the circumstances around it.
When I called, it was a man, and then they actually directed me to Cedartown, and so I spoke to some man there, and he immediately knew who I was talking about, but he just was being very cryptic, he and he just kept repeating due diligence over and over and over. Everybody in that little town knows who she is. Yeah, right. Exactly. The death is not being investigated. True. Why? She was 12. It's not like she was possessed. Like, why? How? How is it not? They have temps in the office right now. Okay, and have they pulled anything new or have they started anything new? I mean,
I
how?
really don't.
I don't
I
understand.
don't think they should say, I don't know who that is. There's no investigation on it if they don't know.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so if there was a puppy that was found dead because it was tied up and neglected and abandoned in the yard, they would investigate the owners. They would investigate the death. They wouldn't just be like, oh, well, it died due to its conditions, and leave it at that. I mean, and this is a dog. Okay, this is gonna offend dog people. I'm sorry, but dogs do eat their own poo. I'm sorry. I don't put them on the same level as humans. I know a lot of people do. Sorry, 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 sorry. Caitlyn her death should be investigated. This is infuriating to me.
I know that I live in Oklahoma. My cousin, who is I think 16 days younger than me, he committed suicide by hanging, and we went over there, and it took the police 6 hours to take his body out of the shed where he had hung himself because they were in bed. They were like, nobody touch anything. Um, Everybody needs to get back, and like it took them 6 hours to get his body out and just to pronounce him dead.
And you said that was because they were like they wanted to take note of everything first, or
Yeah, yeah.
Courtney, do you know how long it was before Caitlyn's body was taken to the hospital?
Because according to Tammy, she was still breathing when she found her, even though she was hanging there for 45 minutes.
Did Tammy say that's what the doctors said, or was that her own observation?
She said that, because I called her a liar. It was when we were arguing. And she said, call the hospital. She was still breathing. So,
Courtney said she was taken as soon as the paramedics arrived, and I'm guessing to revive her, obviously. Caitlyn had a faint pulse. Really? So, did they, was it the protocol with, life support and stuff? Or, I mean,
she was probably brain dead.
I know Anthony. Anthony just did a sad face. It doesn't even feel right talking about her body, like, like this. The first officer did not start CPR. Did
Why
what?
didn't her mother? Why didn't her mother?
Maybe she
Why
did.
didn't
I don't, because I mean, I'm thinking maybe too, I don't know, she might have. But that's a good point because you're a mother too, and we know what we would do. The poor brain would have been seriously starved off oxygen. The neighbor did? Did the neighbor, is the neighbor a paramedic? Like, was the neighbor there at the same time the mom was? I didn't even know they had close neighbors. Forgive my ignorance, by the way, on that. No, Penny is her name. Penny, okay.
So did Tammy just take her down or something? I don't. I'm so confused.
Me too. Penny helped her get down from the tree. So Penny was there before Tammy was there, or at the same time? Or was Tammy in too much panic? This is stuff I wanted to ask Debbie, but I just couldn't.
She was found by Tammy, but I guess Penny came to help. I don't know how you let your kid hang there when you find them, but I've never been in that situation, so.
Tammy
Oh,
had,
yeah, AJ was there when she found him.
Jake Ford said, wasn't her neighbor an old woman? I don't know. Was she an old woman, Courtney? Was Penny? Well, Penny sounds like a godsend. You know, I understand the anger toward Tammy. At the same time, I don't know enough to. I know that the conversations I heard between Tammy and Katelyn, sometimes Tammy would really listen to her and tell her like loving things. So like Penny is over 50, older, I would say. Wow, yeah.
These are things you don't, and I don't really know about because that's not the part really that we want to focus on. It's really morbid,
Right.
but it is necessary to know about these things, I guess. No matter how unpleasant they are, the whole damn thing is unpleasant. To be honest, it's very discouraging what is and isn't being done.
Right. There's a picture of Penny with Caitlin on her lap in the archives. Oh, okay. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
In what archive?
So, Courtney, would you say that it seems like Polk County is even has ever even attempted anything? Like, do they even feel like they have anything to investigate? Because it seems like they don't. I agree, Celeste. I feel sympathy toward Tammy, while at the same time I acknowledge all the faults and things she did. Right. I mean, when I was a little bit older than Caitlin, there was a lot going on because of my mother. And my mother wasn't a drug addict, but there was the negligence and the rages. And when I attempted what I attempted, I still, even to this day, don't blame my mother. I more so blame everything around that wasn't doing anything to help. Yes, I think they are investigating, but that department is incredibly busy. Well, I mean, time is of the essence. What are they busy with? Like giving tickets and drug busts? Or like they give instant money? Or, because I haven't heard of another tragedy like Caitlin's in their town. So, is that what they're busy with? Is stuff that gives instant gratification? I know that like somebody earlier in the chat said that for too much forensics, I think it was, I think they want this off their desk and the dead. Well, but why do they want it off their desk? Because they feel incompetent? Is that why? And it makes them feel bad that they don't feel like they can adequately come to reach anything? I mean, are they like not up to par with like internet and like what can be said and done all over the internet that's damning? Are they that old fashioned? And like I said, if they need more funding, like why don't they contact Atlanta? Because that's what a lot of small towns do in high profile cases.
Yeah, very podunk towns, and I'm not trying to like belittle, Polk County, but maybe they are old fashioned and they're, you can't believe everything you read on the internet.
Yep, exactly.
But,
that's exactly what I think their position is.
But there's video evidence with dates on it of Katelyn saying these things and Tammy agreeing that she was told about these things right after they happened and that she did nothing about it when Tammy didn't know she was being recorded.
Right. And like you said, because of the old-fashioned standpoint, to them, it might not be for some reason. Like if that same evidence were in person or were said on a telephone, they would consider it evidence. But because it's on this electronic rectangle, they're not taking it as seriously. Or because it's on a cell phone, which is so dumb because it's still evidence. Her whole death took place on this device. So they need to acknowledge what could be left on this device. Before the tragic death of Detective Hearn, the case was being wrapped up. Really? So, are the temporary people who are there, do they lack the ability to be able to follow up with the case files, or what's the point of them even being temporaries temps if they're not gonna do anything.
That's actually, those were the exact words that Anthony said to me whenever I confronted him about the video of Tammy and Caitlyn fighting.
What would he say?
He said, "Oh yeah, I bet you believe in Bigfoot too."
Why? Because you were believing what you. So is he saying that it was an act that Tammy and Caitlyn, like, they wrote a script and that the fights that they had, is he saying that those were acts?
No, he's saying that I believe everything that I see on the internet. And because he had no idea about the video, and then I'm like, "Well, no, but Tammy didn't know she was being recorded." So he's like, "Are you telling me that Tammy got recorded without her knowledge?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes,
Her phone was behind
inadvertently,
a shower.
yes."
Right.
And
Her phone was behind.
he said, "Well, now I'm going to call the Polk County Sheriff's Office and tell them that." And I'm like, "Go ahead. The one that did it is deceased."
Believe everything you see on the internet. Yeah. Well, he didn't feel that way when he was on the internet typing things that were he was trying to make damning against Tammy. Like, if the internet, why? If I mean, he's not even following his own philosophy. He was trying to spread rumors on the internet himself. So why is he telling you not to believe whatever you read on the internet?
Yeah. And he told me he's never watched any of the stuff that Caitlyn put out, but then he would discuss details of some of her live streams.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was so funny to me. I'm like, you don't watch any of Caitlyn's live streams, but you're talking about this, which happened in a live stream.
Yeah,
That
we
doesn't
spoke
make
about
any
one
sense.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we all know the truth because we've all watched every single one of her live streams. Anthony P said, I don't think they're doing much because of the Prozac connection. However, there are questions that need to be answered. Oh, definitely. That's if you know me, Anthony, then you know, like, if you've watched me before, like the Prozac next to Anthony, those are the two. That was the formula, in my opinion, that caused the ultimate with Caitlyn. Tammy told the doctors at Floyd in November about Anthony. The Prozac issue is being investigated by attorneys. Well, by who's the attorney's, like, client? Like, did Tammy go to them? Like, who are they representing? Or is the state, like,
I know Prozac didn't work for me at a younger age, but right after I had my daughter, it helped me.
how old were you after you had your daughter?
She's one now, so I was 22.
Yeah, because at 12, your brain isn't even. That's why they say if you're under 18, you should be closely monitored. And
I
yes,
was 14 when I started taking it, and then I had to stop because it made things worse. And then after I had my daughter, they're like, just try it again.
yeah,
And I did, and it helped.
they make a lot of money when they prescribe those. The family's attorney. So Courtney said the family's attorney. Oh, okay. When you say the family, you're talking about like Tammy and Debbie and all them? Or are you talking about like Matthew? Or are you talking about like both of them combined? Well, I'm glad that Prozac did not um, make you suicidal. Both. Both? Oh, okay. Gosh. Wow. I really hope something is done about that. That psychiatrist, no. Like, that's not okay. And I'm really glad that you're okay right now, Cherokee. I know that when I took it, I was 22, and the one I took around Caitlin's age was Paxil, and that one had a similar effect. Prozac had a similar effect, and Zoloft. So I guess if you've got that genetic proclivity or whatever to be suicidal, you just need to stay away from SSRIs, period. I'm sure Matt could be looking at wrongful death case against the drug companies. Yeah, yeah. I think he was on my same page about the Prozac, but I don't really remember. We talked for a really long time. Yes, Anthony. Wait, what are you saying yes, Anthony, to? Oh, you're never mind. She's responding to Anthony in the chat.
It seems like you're as scatterbrained as I am.
Yeah, that's a very sweet way to put it.
Because I was wondering the same thing. I was like, yes, Anthony, what?
Yeah, good, good.
I'm like, do I need to scroll to see what she was talking about?
Yeah.
I'm
Also,
actually on Wellbutrin right now.
how's that working for you?
It's weird. It makes you feel weird.
A good weird?
Well, it doesn't like get you high or anything. It's known to give you anxiety,
Yeah, this
which is
girl,
another thing they're treating me for because I have panic disorder and generalized anxiety and major depressive disorder.
that's it's purely environmental. Yes, I agree. I miss Caitlin. A girl I knew in an anxiety group I was in last year, she was only like 17, but she was on Wellbutrin, and when she started it, she had like no appetite. She had a lot of energy, but she also kind of had like this weird euphoria, like moments of that, and it was interesting to watch. There are a lot of new questions for Matt. Time for an update. I agree. I don't know if he would be willing to talk again. I would though. I would actually want to do like I'm doing with Cherokee, and I would want to just have him on so he could answer questions in the chat because it was the death threats, Cherokee, that you've gotten before. Did you say death threats? I think you did for
Mhm.
coming out against Tammy. It was kind of the same. Uh, I got that same wave of hate following Anthony, but I really, honestly, I didn't care. I can take a lot of hate. I can take a lot of hate. I just the when Tony
I've
found my
never seen anyone take up for Anthony before.
I meant to say Matthew. Oh my lord. Um, but well, that's true. I've never seen anybody take up for Anthony either. But I have seen people downplay his role in Caitlyn's life. I have. Yes, I have a ton. You have a ton of what, Anthony? Oh, questions? Okay.
It was very belated, by the way, I must say, because these other girls, they reposted my screenshots of me talking to Tammy and me arguing with her and calling her names and all this stuff. And I'm like, you guys are too late. You don't have the other screenshots of me apologizing to her. And, and I'm like, this is months ago. You're way, way too late to threaten my life for it. Like,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
really did talk to Tammy, you would know I had apologized to her.
Well, even if you didn't, I mean, you're an adult and you have a right to have your opinions. And unless you were sending Tammy death threats and like, then you're entitled. I mean, this deals with a 12-year-old who killed herself. There are going to be strong emotions flung everywhere. Like that should be expected. Like it would actually be
Well,
weird.
and that's why I apologized because I saw Caitlin's video the night that it happened. Not, I didn't see the live stream. I saw it at like 10 or 11 at night.
Hmm.
People were sharing it all over Facebook.
Yeah, that's where I saw.
And and it just got me. It just like reached out and it got me and I was grieving over somebody I didn't even know. And it came from the grieving emotions that I had, and I know I didn't mean those things that I said to her, so that's why I did apologize.
And I think Tammy would forgive you. I mean, I think she's immune right now to people coming to her like that. She knew
I'm
that you were
sure I'm
coming
not
from
the only one.
she knew you were coming from a place of love. And no, you're not the only one. Cause I mean, didn't you go like I know a lot of people immediately went to Tammy's Facebook right after, and then do you remember all those long threads before she like made it where you couldn't comment, where everybody was going off on her?
Yeah, I remember those. Sorry,
Yeah,
I have a cold.
you better be sorry. I'm just kidding.
Tony, Courtney. Tony said that he talked. I told you about that. I think it was you. It was either you or the other person that runs that one group. I don't want to say her name, but you know who she is. Um, that Tony was saying that he was made an honorary parish and that he's got some Russian friends that are going to take care of me. And ugh, so scary.
He's just a distraction, like I said. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, did Tony did say he is in with Tammy? Did Tony?
Yeah. Yeah. He said that Tammy was the one, or that he said that Tammy had messaged him and told him about me going off on her because me and her went back and forth. And that's why everybody paid attention to the screenshots of me and her arguing, is because she did respond to me a lot.
I talked to, I talked to Bowl of Fruit Loops. They know more than this medium. Medium? What medium? Oh, are you talking about Tony? Yeah, I mean he's made a video before where he silenced what I was saying, and then in the description he put that I was saying that my husband molests my kids, and he said I have a 12-year-old daughter, which I don't have a 12-year-old daughter, and he was saying like I don't have the audio yet, but this is what she said. So I mean he's a crazy liar. So like if anything starts off with Tony said, it's like I just don't. It doesn't. And
And just to be clear, I published the screenshots between me and Tammy. Tammy did not publish the screenshots between me and Tammy. Just so we're clear on that. But he said that Tammy was the one that sent him the screenshots, and that's how I know he's a liar, because I'm the one that put them out there, not Tammy.
he calls everyone a liar, just for the record, so I wouldn't take it personally. Being irrational gains no credibility. Yeah.
It really doesn't.
And Tammy's already said, like, that she has no reason to lie about it. She's already said that she doesn't talk to him, that she's, like, maybe said a few things to him and that's it, and that he mostly talks to Debbie, which is her mother, and Tony calls me worse, is what Courtney just said. But honestly, if he started complimenting me, that is when I would be scared that I was doing something wrong in my life. So I think it's a good thing that someone like him doesn't like me. Or
he blocked me.
Yeah, me too. He won't have a conversation with you unless you're a male. Tammy wants no drama. She's moving forward. Yeah, I don't blame her. I wouldn't
That's
even
all she can do.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even call what Tony does drama. It's like, because I mean, even drama sometimes is substantial. Like, he's just goofy. So it's like, I don't even take him seriously anymore. Like, he did find my address and he sent death threats. I made reports about it there. I mean, but I mean, when it comes to what he says about the case, it's just.
Yeah, he said he was going to find me and all this. And I'm like, I'm a gun owner, buddy. Come to my front door. I dare you.
Oh.
And
Courtney
he blocked me.
Tony is like poison. He is a distraction. Yes, I think of him like a virus because like he hasn't contacted me yet, knock on wood, but he hasn't contacted me in a while now, like a couple weeks. But then when he does start leaving comments again, it's like when you catch like a horrible fever. It's like then it hangs on for a while and it is a huge distraction. It's a little bit of a handicap. And then finally it goes away. Then it comes back. And that's what I feel like he is. I wish we had like an antibiotic.
It was so funny because he was starting to freak me out when he was like threatening me, because I'm like, I don't even freaking know you. And I told Courtney about it, and she sent me a picture of him, and I laughed so hard I almost cried. And because he was making pizza pans, and she's like, yeah, that's right. That badass makes pizza pans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mom right now. I occasionally babysit, so it's not like I'm like some, have some great job. But considering that he tries to act like he's like James Bond, that is a little funny. But it kind of freaked me out actually when I saw that video because like when he was making the pizza pans, like why are we even talking about this, Cherokee? Why are we talking about this? But when he was making the pizza pans, he was like into it, and it was like loud, and there were like little like fumes flying around, and he was like, and so I kept picturing like that being like my head, and him being like I don't know, like it freaked me out. Like it's not like I think it would have been
90 pounds. It has no.
Ted Bundy was scrawny too, though. Like that doesn't matter to me. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal's like a teddy bear. Like, it doesn't matter to me that he's 90 pounds.
He looks very frail and fragile.
So did Elliot Rodger before he shot a lot of people.
Yeah, I've been reading his manifesto. It's a really long one.
Courtney, do not insult rabbits like that. She just said stop talking about the silly rabbit. Okay, let's not talk about Tony anymore because this is like why he does what he does because he wants to be a topic. So
I've been reading Elliot Rodger's manifesto.
oh, sorry, did I
And
interrupt you when you said that? I'm sorry.
no, you didn't.
What did
But
it
I have been. It's a really, really. It starts from birth. So I've spent collectively about 10 hours reading it, and I'm still not done.
I know what you're talking about. I read the highlights of it about like how his mom would be gone and his dad. I read some of that, and I also saw all the comments he left on the Warcraft forums where he used to game. It was really interesting.
Yeah, he was a very disturbed individual. I think the problem that what he thought was the problem was not the problem. I think he was just mentally ill.
Well, yeah, and I think he was a product of having no nurturing growing up because like his parents were always full-time working and he was just thrown around like cattle and like he was just given whatever he wanted, but he never had that main component that a human being needs, which is acknowledgement from a parent or some sort of guardian. I mean, I don't know. And I feel like that's why he never ever valued himself. He had no, I think he was actually an attractive guy. He
I do
seemed,
too.
yeah, and he seemed articulate and he was calm and collected. Like he wasn't one of these that like when he talks, he's like, I'm like, kind of like I am. Like he was a charming guy. So it's like, I think that the reason these girls were all turned off by him was because he came off too desperate. But I mean, there are a lot of guys in his position who don't end up going on a shooting spree. I think, like you said, he was mentally ill, and I think a lot of it had to do with him being just like here's a room and a car and whatever you want and here's money, but like he never actually had a sense of anything in here. So like
He had a weird sense of entitlement, I can tell you that much. He was spoiled his whole life. His mom briefly dated George Lucas. He went to every premiere of Star Wars. You can see him walking the red carpet. And I remember reading in his manifesto, and I'm just remembering, like, thinking, you're such a spoiled brat. He got mad because his family made him go on vacation to Morocco for 8 weeks. And he got mad that they didn't take first class like they normally did.
okay.
And he was such an entitled, spoiled brat. It wasn't that he approached and was rejected. He felt like girls should flock to him.
I think you're right then. His sense of entitlement, the inflated ego probably had a lot to do with why he felt like he had to take revenge on all the people who turned him down. So Anthony P said, I'm thinking of going back to Georgia in December. If I do, I'm going to visit Caitlin again. Do you post photos and stuff of when you visit? And if so, where do you post them? And then I Miss Caitlin said, I went back in June. Have you been, Cherokee? Have you ever been?
To see Caitlin?
Hmm,
Mm-mm.
me neither.
No, I actually am thinking about it. If I can map out where she's buried and stuff.
At least online, when people take pictures, we can see some of it. Hi, Rod. This is Rod Starkey. Do you ever talk to him? He's
I I may have.
because he's
I
on a
don't know.
lot, like on a lot of her videos. He's communicated with Tony a lot. He's pretty frequent in every Caitlyn everything, like Courtney. So you probably have.
I, if I if I'm thinking of the right person, I think he may have been one of the people that helped me with another situation that was going on in one of the Caitlyn pages.
Her name is Cherokee. Now that the trailer is sold, I wonder what will happen to the property. I know. That's what I was talking about in the last streams. Like, so there hasn't been an update about that since then? Because it's almost been like a month. No, I was there with Steve. I'm the one that paid for the grave to be, really? To be redone.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. Then I was thinking
wow.
of
Well,
somebody
thank
else.
you, Anthony. Thank you so much. Anthony P's in here, and he was the one that paid for the grave to be redone. For those of you who don't know, her grave was actually like becoming completely wrecked. Like it was partially showing, like it was becoming unlevel. It was just a mess, and nobody was doing anything about it. I miss you. Thank you, Anthony, is what I miss. Caitlin said. Courtney, no, that was someone else. Cherokee. Yes,
So
Anthony.
no, I haven't talked to Rodney.
So Anthony saved it. So the Anthony in the chat room, not to be confused with Anthony Lucifer, saved her grave from sinking. Jake Ford, wasn't the trailer sold to the family? Was it? I thought someone else outside the family got it.
Anthony said that was his trailer.
Why? Did he own it?
That's what he said.
Is that true, Courtney? I Miss Caitlin said it looks like it changed hands twice. It looks like it. What do you mean? Do you know what she means, Cherokee?
Trailer. It looks like it changed hands twice. I don't.
So Courtney said Anthony never owned it, so that looks like
Yeah.
lie number like 100. Okay.
Yeah, he just lies for no reason. So, I mean, I believe it. I'm just letting you know another lie that he told.
Right. I Miss Caitlin said I think a neighbor across the street owns it. Oh, okay. That's common with trailers though, because I know the trailer park over here, a lot like they're owned by the same person who lives on the property. A lot of them. But Caitlin's wasn't in a trailer park though, was it? I mean, it looked like it was on its own property.
Yeah, it did.
The trailer is almost gone, is what Courtney said.
It
Like,
looked almost gone when she lived in it.
yeah, good point. I miss Caitlin. Courtney is being torn down. Courtney, is it being torn down?
It
That
is
was gonna be
being
my
torn
question.
down.
So sad. That is sad, but I think it's also, I mean, unless a journalist has come to like document it. Yes, it's being torn down right now. Okay, remember Courtney in our last stream when you reassured me that there was probably going to be like journalists who were going to go there and like showcase all of where Caitlyn lived and stuff, so it would be kind of like Anne Frank's memory with, you know, I mean, is that still going to be done? Because it doesn't sound like it. Yes, Jake, I agree. It is very sad. Just do a record search for title to the property. Okay.
I messaged Nancy Grace about it.
Does she still doesn't have her show though, does she? Or does she still do?
She does podcasts, and
Oh,
I'm sure she has a lot of pull with the media.
she's in Georgia right now. She
Yeah.
lives in Georgia. That would actually be really ideal. And I like a lot of guys can't stand Nancy, but I actually like her. Courtney, two journalists came out. They came out and did what? Did they go to the property? I Miss Caitlin said, so sad. I'm so glad I went when I did. I am so glad you were able to also. Courtney, the family does not own the trailer or the property. Okay, gosh, Anthony just has a like. I think he's a habitual liar, like the kind who just do it by habit.
He's a sociopath.
Hmm.
A really stupid one.
I Miss Caitlin said thanks, Celeste. Okay, because I'm glad that you went. Yeah, and I've seen pictures online, which really helped us feel like we were at the site. I still, though, like I said, would rather see more of inside the trailer where Caitlin dwelled, where she was alive, where we met her. That's where I wanna. That's where I want a journalist to document. And I'm shocked that it hasn't been done yet. I mean, even Kaylee Anthony, we saw her nursery, we saw her den. Courtney.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Oh, you
If I think it was like it was like a 1 minute long video of the property. It didn't. It showed the trailer, but not inside of it, and it showed the swimming pool, and then the burn pile, and then it stops at the tree where the bucket is.
Oh, you're talking about what Courtney just said? The journalist filmed the property before it was fenced and posted no trespassing?
Hmm.
I didn't see that video. I mean, I literally just saw a picture of the trailer and then what Caitlin showed us. I Miss Caitlin said, I heard that Tammy's father bought the trailer from a settlement he received when he lost his leg. Are you talking about Matthew? In a work accident. Oh, Tammy's father. Tammy's father. Okay. Is that true? That was Christina's video Cherokee's talking about. Oh, okay. I'm sorry for being so confusing. Rod asked, what will happen to the tree? That is a very interesting question. Will anything happen to the tree? Yes, Chuck bought it like that. Oh, Chuck did buy it. Okay, so Chuck is Tammy's dad. That tree is very expensive to remove. Yeah, it looked like a very mature tree. Oh, talking about the tree.
Anthony actually had told me that he talked to uh, AJ, and AJ told him that he was going to go and try to cut down the tree,
Mm.
which just kind of.
Yeah, like what do you say to that? That is a cedar tree, Courtney said. One of many planted by Chuck. Okay. I had wondered. I, Miss Caitlin, said I had wondered. Chuck is Tammy's dad, the one who died, Rod. It's really difficult to talk about the tree. I mean, that was talking about, if someone we knew died on a crucifix, talking about the piece of wood that they were put on. I mean, well, I guess this is still a piece of wood. It's very, um, yeah, several arborists were contacted about removing the tree. I don't know. I'm probably alone on this, but I don't feel like it should be removed. There is a picture that shows Caitlin sitting on the lap of an elderly skinny woman. Oh, sorry, I'm reading a pop-up from my Facebook app.
Anthony said that more than one person has hung themselves from that tree.
Is that true,
More
Courtney?
than just more than just Caitlyn.
I think wouldn't we have heard about that by now though, from more than just him? Courtney said that's
Yeah.
not true.
And he said
Again,
like 3 different people hung themselves from that tree.
wow, what a storyteller. Is that his way of trying to again like make you? What is he blaming the tree? That the tree has some power? What is his why?
It's pretty ridiculous.
Well, I guess if there's like a spot in the road where people get in wrecks in all the time, I guess that spot in the road must be to blame then. Like, let's blame. I mean, I guess that
Yeah.
can happen, but you get what I'm saying. That just again
He,
sounds like a distraction.
he didn't seem to be intoxicated, Courtney. He spoke in full sentences. He's just very illiterate and very dull.
He sounds like he likes to embellish for shock value or distraction.
hmm I felt like a broken record because I found myself being like, Anthony, what does that have to do with what I just asked you? What does that have to do with that? What does that have to do with that? What does that have to do with that? Well, because of this, and this, and goes off on another story. And I was like, you're just talking in circles, buddy. I'm not getting anything out of you. You're just trying to avoid the subject. And my husband was sitting right next to me, just like trying not to laugh while he's holding the recorder. And I'm just like, it's like, what does any of this stuff have to do with? Because my main focus was the allegations against him that Caitlyn made. And his focus was getting me off of focusing on that, it seemed like.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me too. Courtney said that property has had a lot of tragedy and horror, and then I Miss Caitlin said, Courtney, were the arborists contacted to bring the tree to another area to be transplanted? And Courtney said, I Miss Caitlin, oops, yes, transplant or remove, even sell. Furniture makes use. Cedar trees there. Oh, so that was the reason. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know. Like I probably am alone in thinking it shouldn't be removed, but Anthony P said he is clearly a nutcase. Yeah, I think, but I've known nice nutcases, so it sounds too kind to call him a nutcase. To me, he's just evil. Courtney.
Yeah, I mean, because I consider myself somewhat of a nutcase, so
Right. And I like cuckoos. Like, you forgive me for being flaky because like you said you're scatterbrained too, and I think that's like so he sounds like he's calculating, which I am not like you can't be a flake and be calculating. So like I can't call him a nutcase. I'm interested in the history of that property. Yeah, I wonder if a journalist has dug up that too. I mean, there's only so much we could Google about the trailer that would like I don't know, maybe there is stuff out there.
I am interested in the history of that property. I really don't, I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. I really don't care about the history of the property. That's just my honest opinion. Like, the history of the property has nothing to do with why she killed herself. It has to do with Anthony and her mother being too caught up in her own addiction to be able to be there for her own daughter. And online predators like Luke Callahan.
Maybe she was talking about like the recent history of the property, like in terms of like who was renting it right before them or who are like, I know you're right that that's not really relevant to why Caitlyn's not here. Anthony P said, I'm trying to be kind. When I met with Steve, I told him I hoped that the family would get along better. At least they still have family. That's true. Several people believe there was a spirit there. Well, they can believe that. Rod said, Cherokee, do you know the family?
No,
She doesn't.
I don't. I found out about them through Caitlyn's viral video. I've spoken with Tammy, I've spoken with Anthony, and that's about as far as that goes.
Anthony P said, my family killed themselves last year. Family is important. Wow. I don't even know what to say.
My cousin committed suicide when I was about 6 months pregnant with my daughter. And when I was 18, my best friend called me and told me that he was going to commit suicide. I didn't believe him, and he shot himself that night and died. I have his initials right here on my arm and his birth date.
Was that the first time that he ever came out about being suicidal?
No, it was a common occurrence with him. See, he was obsessed with Kurt Cobain, and he's like, I'm gonna live to be 27 just like Kurt Cobain, and then I'm gonna shoot myself. And I'm like, no, you're not. I'd known him since I was like 9, and ever since we were 9, he would say things like this. And to me, it wasn't a big deal because I wasn't exposed to things like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're not. Shut up. No, you're not. No, you're not. And the night that he committed suicide, he called me and he was like, I need you here. I need you here. I need you here. I'm like, I got to go to work. I'm 2 hours away from you. I barely have the gas money to get to my job that is like 3 blocks away, let alone drive 2 hours. I can't, and I have to go to work. And then I get a call 3 days later that he had committed suicide that night. And I couldn't even make it to his funeral.
Well, it's not your fault. And the Kurt Cobain thing, do you feel like that was like, do you feel like that like glamorized it for him? Like,
I think it did. He's the one that got me listening to Nirvana. I love Kurt Cobain, but I've never wanted to follow his lead and kill myself because of what he did. But it seemed like he did, at one point, idolize Kurt Cobain. But I don't think that was a factor anymore when he had killed himself because I think something snapped in him that made him feel worthless. And I don't know what it was, but I know that I was basically the only friend that he had. And when I met him, he had a whole bunch of friends. Like,
How old was
oh,
he?
he was 20.
Was he on any medication or any substance of any?
Oh, he smoked fake bake. He took quercetin, like triple C's. He was a drug addict, basically.
Do you know like what he was last on?
He was never put on anything, I don't think. He never sought help. He
Okay.
would just take quercetin and smoke that synthetic weed that synthetic weed that's been killing people.
Yeah.
He was addicted to that.
Well, the fact that he called you shows that he considered you someone who listened to him in his life. So I think that's a very good thing. And Anthony said, I'm so sad, Cherokee. I'm so sorry. I Miss Caitlin said, I'm so sorry for your loss. Courtney said, I'm so sorry, Cherokee.
It happened when I was 18. He was 20, I was 18. We had been friends since I was 9, and I went through every stage of grief I possibly could. Um, I got mad at him. How do you call me and then tell me to come and see you and then kill yourself? I'm going to blame myself. How could you do that to me? And then feeling guilt because I'm making it about me and not him. He's the one that's dead. And I went through all of it, and now it's where the pain has stopped and the memories began.
Yeah. Hi, Wendy. So this is Cherokee Wendy. Wendy's also a frequent commenter and if there's anything that deals with Caitlin. And so Cherokee is here with me, and she was just talking about a cousin of hers who committed suicide. So the makeup group I'm in, this at first isn't going to sound relevant, but it kind of is. That's why I have makeup all over my desk. I did a makeup tutorial earlier in this makeup group, and it's mostly made up of girls who are like between, I want to say, 14 and 19. And there's this one girl there who's actually the head mod of the group. And she, in the last year, is constantly posting suicide, like talking about how she feels suicidal. She's got a little kid who's like 3. She lives with her mother. She lives in a state over, she lives in Wisconsin, and she's always posting suicidal stuff. I thought maybe it was a phase. I thought maybe it would end. I've always tried to help her by talking to her. But recently she went to the hospital because she posted all she made these really deep cuts on her wrist, and she just hates herself. And so many people in the group constantly are telling her she's doing it for attention, and some of them almost act like they want to push her off the edge. And like, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. It really, it's a shame how people, not
The
saying
story,
your cousin, but
the story that I just told, that was about my best friend, not my cousin. My
oh, sorry.
cousin hung himself, and then my best friend shot himself. Thank you. Sounds good. I haven't been reading any of these comments.
Right now
Um,
it looks like they're discussing about being on Instagram. Do you have an
oh,
Instagram, Cherokee?
I do. I do.
I don't use mine. I've never used mine.
I've kind of quit using mine.
Well, I want to though, because it seems like a lot of people post in there about Caitlyn, which I didn't really know about until a few days ago. The youth of today has lost hope. Yeah. I think it's because there's like we have more access to the dark side of life, really, and it's mind pollution and
They're being exposed to things way too early.
right. And like Courtney said, the youth have no coping skills. I completely agree with that, and I don't feel like the pharmaceutical industry helps with that either. Like that video that you posted or somebody posted that showed that they covered these childhood suicides, and Katelyn's was on there. They failed to mention that every single one of those people, they were on an SSRI when they shouldn't have been. My brother hung himself 4 days later. My brother hung himself 4 days later. Oh my gosh, Anthony.
That's terrible.
If you don't mind me asking, how old was your brother? I Miss Caitlin said, I have a faith in God, and honestly, our culture is pulling away from acknowledging God, so they think this life is all there is. But a lot of people who believe in God kill themselves because they feel like they'll go to a better place.
A lot of people that believe in God believe she's going to hell too because she committed suicide.
Exactly. Anthony P.
I mean, I believe in God, but I don't think that she would be going to hell. I don't believe she's of age of accountability.
I mean, but even when we were like in the dark ages and everything was super religious, there was still a lot of darkness. I think a lot of it has to do with the exposure and the limited moderation, and there being no moderation of the exposure. I mean, we all have our own opinions, by the way. I'm not saying this is fact. I don't know. I think they believe they want to escape the pain. Yeah, it's a form of escapism. Exactly. It's like you said, they have no coping skills. So when things go south, that kill themselves is easier. Yeah. Anthony P. Me tried to contact me brother on Facebook. Who tried to contact? They tried to contact you about your brother? I'm sorry, I'm confused.
I agree. I miss Caitlin.
I entrust Katelyn to God's unfathomable mercy. He made her with such beautiful qualities. Medical examiner.
Oh, that's what ME stands for, medical examiner.
Okay.
The medical examiner tried to contact me about my brother on Facebook. That's
Facebook.
Weird.
Did you talk to the medical examiner? I feel like Katelyn should have never gone through what she went through, and that if it could have been stopped, then it should have been stopped. Anthony,
Damn it. Somebody's at my door.
Are you going to answer it?
Yeah, because I know who it is. It's my husband's friend, I think.
Oh.
Oh, hi.
Here.
My mom.
Her's at school. Who are you talking to?
Yeah, she's at school. I'm doing a webcast.
Oh.
About Anthony.
Here's a pumpkin. Okay, love you.
Love you too.
And here's some little baby foods.
Okay, good. My mom lives like right around the corner from me, and she pops in and out.
Oh, that's nice.
She brought me a pumpkin.
Yeah, it sounded really sweet. She's like, pumpkin.
My mom knows about Anthony.
Yeah, I noticed that, because when you said it, you didn't even say his last name.
Yeah, I told her, because my mom messaged Tammy too. And
Really?
yeah. My mom didn't get a response. I did. And I'm not going to say I regret it, because I did apologize for it. But my mom knows about Katelyn and about Tammy and about everything that happened with Anthony.
I think it's good that she cares just as much as you do. Anthony P. said, yes, my brother was a victim of gang stalking. I didn't believe it until I got the police report and found out the Texas medical examiner tried to cover it up. What? Courtney said, Katelyn loved Halloween. Anthony P. gang stalking. Yeah, I have an idea, a visual, but is that what it sounds like? A gang that stalks? Why did the medical examiner try to cover it up? I Miss Katelyn said, I have never been so touched by another human being as I have Katelyn, especially someone so young. Her wisdom, love, and selflessness has touched me deeply. Likewise, I Miss Katelyn. I think many would agree with you and empathize. like we all come from we all come from different walks of life, but if I know that somebody, like, none of us care about our differences. If we all love Katelyn, she
I'm
was the
starting.
opposite of divisive. Katelyn wanted everything to be united. It didn't matter anything else. She even said, when she was speaking about her belief in God, she even said, "I don't care if you're Muslim or a Jew or if you don't believe in God," or she was like, I believe that God loves everyone. Like, she was very open about it and accepting. Anthony P, please help us understand gang stalking.
And that's one thing I would like to express about there's a difference between religion and having a relationship with God. There's a difference between believing in God and being an asshole. There's a huge difference
Did you see the video
between
where
that.
Anthony, was Caitlin's stepdad? Anthony was talking about "In God We Trust" on the dollar bills, and he was being an a-hole about it. That
Mm,
beautiful 12-year-old had more wisdom than many adults. She had much to teach others. Yes, oh my gosh. And I'm in a group chat on Facebook, and we are constantly always going back to how she was smarter than most adults. Anthony P said it's being used on a lot of innocent people to ruin them and make them look crazy. Are you talking about the gang stalking? I have never heard of that.
what is gang stalking?
I don't know, Cherokee. That's what we're trying to figure out. I've never even heard of that.
My hair is poofy.
It looks beautiful. This is gonna sound so weird, but like the shape of your top lip, I like can't stop looking at it 'cause it's like so perfect. It's like the perfect pout. It's like the perfect little cupid's bow. It is so pretty.
I I highlight it, that's why.
Oh, it's you can still tell that it's pretty.
Gang stalking is a really covert government or police investigation that's similar to.
So Anthony P said gang stalking is really a covert government or police investigation. It's similar to COINTELPRO. I've never heard of that. Or Red Squads. I've never heard of that either. Forgive my ignorance again. I don't. So it's a kind of like an undercover government or police, and they're using it to make people look crazy. I'm gonna look up examples of that. I have never heard of that. I feel so naive right now.
Is that like a conspiracy
That's
or
Yeah. Has that been proven or is it a conspiracy? Like she asked. Celeste, do you want to start a petition to switch the case to Atlanta? Heck, to the yes. Are you kidding me? That is like an awesome proposal. Let's do it. Seriously, because they would get the ball rolling, and I feel like that would catch the eye more of Nancy Grace, since she lives in Atlanta with her two twins. I thought it was conspiracy. Courtney said, I believe we are called to honor Katelyn, and in doing so, we must stand for justice. Heck to the yes again. Poor Palin said, I can help. Yeah, we can all do this. Why did we not think of that? Like, we can do that. Everybody would sign it. Everyone would sign. I even think Tammy would sign it. Like, everybody would sign it. Matthew would sign it. The only person who wouldn't is the one who knows there'd be evidence found on them, which is Anthony, and then, of course, Luke wouldn't sign it.
Luke's in Massachusetts? Probably preying on somebody else, just like Anthony's doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Courtney has said that they have evidence that Luke is still doing that too. Anthony P said, not anymore. It would take too long to type the story. Okay, well, I'll do some Googling then. You've really made me intrigued. Miss Caitlin said the Georgia Bureau of Investigation should have been contacted for their expertise in computer forensics. Have they been? Because I agree with that. Courtney said the governor was petitioned to move the case from Cedartown. So, okay, so he or she is the governor or female or male, was already petitioned to move the case from Cedartown. Did it happen yet? Obviously not. I don't know why I just asked that. For Palin, how can I write to you privately? On Facebook, I'll just put it in here. You can write to me. That's how Cherokee got to me, but I am hard to get in touch with when I'm not like down here at the computer. I will just throw that out there. Okay, there. You can search that name on Facebook and it'll show up. Moats assured the giver. Huh? You know what she means?
I'm confused.
Oh,
Oh,
Governor, it's being down. Governor, it's being done. It's being done right now. Polk, them moving the case.
court.
If Polk County felt they needed help, it is routine. You reach out for help. Exactly. Like that's showing that you actually care about the case that you're assigned. Poor Palin said, "Thanks. I am Lauren Casey. Happy." Oh, you sound so familiar. I've seen you in the Caitlin groups before. Celeste, remind your YouTube viewers to come to YouNow if they want to guess. Okay, so yeah, you go to younow.com/slash Celeste Who Knows. And by the way, I always get made fun of for having my thing as Who Knows. The reason I made it Who Knows, because it used to actually just be Ray Celeste K, was because it told me that I had to make a last name thing on YouTube. It sent me an email one time. And I thought, okay, well, people think my last name is my husband's, but it's actually not. So I'm just gonna put Who Knows. Just like this was before I even like had any subs. So yeah, I was like 19. I bet you with the detective that was just killed, they are getting outside help. You think so? What makes you think? I mean, I would love to believe that. Please enlighten me because I would love to believe that. Floyd County was backing up Cedartown. Is Floyd County does that encompass Atlanta? Absolutely. So you're absolutely sure? Is that what you're saying? So do we need a petition then? Or is it already in the works? Because that would, to me, that's big news. That is big news if that's the case. No, next county over is Floyd. Oh, okay. Well, I think Atlanta would be a lot more, uh, you know, they'd be a lot more advanced. They're much better funded, so they would be able to do all the forensic investigating that they need to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of first 48s that are stationed in Atlanta.
What's a first 48? Sorry, is it what it sounds like?
It's it's like a crime show, but like a
Oh, okay.
reality crime show
Hmm.
where they go and watch police do police work into murders and homicides and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they actually have, I mean, they're known for having high crime, so I mean that right there, they probably have a lot of staff. I'm sure they would even have the funds to interview you. First 50 hours, oh yeah, after a crime. It is standard procedure to reach out. Oh yeah, okay, wait, did my chat go back up? Oh, hi Ian, by the way. You always do that. You always just like pop in and say something without saying hi, and then I'm like, wait, there he is. How long has he been there? I'm actually gonna see my audience to see if there's anyone else. Angela Bradenberg, Kevin Baldwin, Artistic Wonder. Artistic Wonder, I like that name. Courtney, Rob L. I miss Caitlin. Benedict. Hi, Benedict! Cherokee Ross. Hi, Cherokee. Jake Ford for Palin. Or Palin's the one who said the thing about petitioning. And then Ian. Okay, so I know most of you in here then. So I have to have been holding my pee like forever, so I'll be right back.
The FBI could be contacted for their expertise if Polk County felt they needed it, or the GBI contacted the FBI. It's more about the police wrapping up the paperwork and sending it to the DA. Hi, Benedict. I don't know you, but everybody else is saying hi to you, so you must be very nice. See? Everybody's saying hi. It's more about police wrapping up the paperwork and sending it to the DEA. It's been a year, though. That's what I'm so hung up on. It's, well, not yet, but it's almost been a year. So, hi, Anthony. Welcome back. Case is almost wrapped up. Just need some signatures. Oh, so that's where it was really flawed because of the shooting and everything with the detective.
The case is almost wrapped up. Just need some signatures. The case is almost wrapped up. What do you mean the case is almost wrapped up? Hello, I'm in most of all of Katelyn Facebook pages. Hi, Angela Bradenberg. That's awesome. Thank you for being involved.
Just in case you missed anything, after we're done with this broadcast, you can go on YouTube and watch the whole thing over again.
Thank you for saying that. So Benedict said, love you all. Oh, we love you too. And I see that someone else said something really sweet, it looks like. Or Caitlin, I miss Caitlin said, he makes beautiful tributes to Caitlin on YouTube. Yes, he does. They're really, really well made. Courtney said, yes, okay. I'm about to drink a swig of my apple cider vinegar. It's not diluted. It is absolutely disgusting, but it helps my psoriasis. So, yeah, I'm just going to turn around so I make an ugly face. Ugh. God bless all of you, and thank you for loving Caitlin. You too. Whew. Stuff makes me sweat.
I like to drink pickle juice.
I read something about some nutritional deficiency when people crave pickle juice. I can't remember what it was. Was it anemia? Several officers, not saying that's what you have, by the way.
I have been anemic, but I took medicine to help it. It's not an ongoing thing. It's not a chronic thing.
That's good. I have work tonight, so it's bedtime for me. Oh, wait. Oh, you are on a totally different time frame. Oof. My heart feels like it's, I don't know what's going on. Several officers left the agency during the investigation, and this did cause delays too. Do you know why they left? Anthony P. said, I posted yesterday that on December 30th, I'm going to light a candle for Caitlin. I'm carving, last year, my kids, like, I was hoping they'd find something for me to carve on the pumpkin that was, like, easy, but they chose, like, the dog from Frankenweenie, which is, like, a super detailed dog, and I didn't have a layout. I had to free-handedly, I was like, really? Are you sure you don't want this? They were like, no, we want this. So, like, I free-handedly did this Frankenweenie dog, and it actually turned out really, like, you can see it on my other Facebook, but it turned out really good. So I want to do Caitlin's face, since she loves Halloween, and I'm actually going to enter it in this, like, contest. A lot of people are going to be like, who's that? I'm like, Katelyn Nicole Davis. You don't know who she is? Oh my gosh, let me tell you. There are going to be kids there, so I'm not going to be like saying what happened to her, but I am going to tell them to look her up. There was a huge internal investigation. There was a huge internal investigation? Are you talking about before the oh, you're talking about within Polk County because the cops were being were lying and stuff. Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty effed up. Yes,
the police were lying about what?
Weren't they spreading rumors and stuff about each other and just being really unethical? Wasn't that what it was, Courtney? It was crazy. It was really disappointing. Some officers who left worked on our case. I'm going to have a timer to remind me that I have to get off of here at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I got to pick up my daughter at 2.
I'm setting the timer for 10 minutes just to be on time. There.
Yeah, because we've been on here for almost 2 hours.
Are you serious? No wonder my butt cheeks feel like, I feel like I need to
I've changed positions so many times.
I'm just going to I'm just going to stand like a referee because I can't sit on my butt cheeks that long. My Facebook page, if anyone is interested. Can I announce it, Anthony? Oh, you're leaving, Kate? Bye, I miss Caitlin.
Bye.
Well, now it's I have to aim the computer up because I can't even. I need one of those standing desks there. That's better. I can? Okay, so Anthony P. Very interesting stuff he talked about in here. His Facebook page is facebook.com/Anthony.Picallo. That's Picallo. Have you eaten today, Cherokee?
I'm taking antibiotics and they tend to upset my stomach, so I haven't been eating very much lately.
Because I'm starving. Why are you taking antibiotics? Are you sick?
Yeah,
Cold?
I just had bronchitis and now it's starting to go away. I'm at the tail end of it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, then I hope you have something with vitamin C in it then.
I've been drinking a lot of water and I have like one thing of juice a day and I make sure to at least eat a sandwich or something every day, but those antibiotics do my stomach in. Just
That
hurt.
sounds so fun. We're doing
I
a
have
wave
to
of light.
take.
Hey, Cherokee, Courtney said that we're doing a wave of light on October 30th for Caitlin. Okay, so are you talking about like where how are we gonna do this? Like, how are we all gonna, like, are we all gonna post pictures of it or like of us lighting a candle for her at the same time? Or are we gonna,
I actually bought a candle that I was gonna light for her. I've yet to light it, and I've had it since like right after Mother's Day this year.
well, then that's perfect then. Then you can use it for Caitlin. Yes, and post pic. Okay. Gosh, I was thinking what would see I mean it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. I also wish that we could do something that would be more specific to Caitlin. She loved music. I wish we could all play her favorite song at the same time and blast it, or I don't know, like all of us write poems about her and post them at this like on the same on that day. Like something that's a little personalized too for her that's not so much universal. Event being created today. Okay.
Have you seen Caitlin's Instagram video where she's singing "Piece by Piece" by Kelly Clarkson in her car?
And then turns it off because she's like, no, he didn't. About he loves me. Yeah.
I enjoyed her singing part, but she got really sad, it seemed like.
Wait, do what? Oh, you enjoyed her singing? Yeah, she did do well.
Wonder if Matt has seen that. Yeah, because that song is about somebody's father abandoning them, so
I bet he has. And that shows how much it was on her mind too, his absence. The fact that she would be hearing some popular teen song or whatever, pop song, and her mind connects it to Matt.
actually haven't watched the whole video of you talking to Matt. I need to watch all of that.
I would be interested to see what your feedback was on it. Anthony P said, I wish I had seen Caitlin's videos before she died. She was a good singer. I would have offered to get her into singing school. Heck yes. We always talk about that too in our group chat. And she was able to come up with like lyrics like on the fly. Like she really was gifted musically. There's someone in my backyard.
Um,
Let's think of a more personal contribution we can add to the wave. Exactly. Like, she loved 3 Days Grace. She loved that song. I hate everything. She really liked that one. Um, and like I really think us, even if they were just 3 lines for a poem, like just stuff that would really be personal, or I don't know. I think we should do a live hangouts that night though, where we can all you, me, Cherokee, Benedict, and by you I mean Courtney, Ian, Rod, etc., 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 Wendy, all of us could just, you know, like a ping pong of love for Katelyn back and forth in the hangout. I feel like that would just be beautiful. Um, because sometimes y'all remind me of things about Katelyn that just spark new thoughts. And there is one I fundraised for 70 miles from where she lived. You're talking about singing school? And it was only 70 miles from where she lived. Huh. Well, that's cool that you fundraised it. Let's think about, oh, okay. So my timer has 3 minutes, just for the record.
Okay. I'm on my stomach now because I'm tired. I'm sitting. My back's hurting.
Yes. When I was little, I used to be afraid of lying down on my stomach because I thought it would keep my boobs from growing, and I thought I would have no boobs if I did that. Now I realize that that's not the case. Because I never did that, and I still don't have boobs. So
Yeah, I did. I did it all the time, and I don't have boobs, so that it must be true.
oh, whatever. I'm proof it's not. Anthony said that's why I was in Georgia in April. I was there to see a concert. Oh, okay. I'm just curious, what concert were you there for? And I went to Katelyn's grave. Katelyn should have like her site should be like of a queen. Like I always refer to her as our queen because that's how I feel like everybody could learn from her. She is a queen to me. Lisa Kelly. Lisa Kelly? Oh, I don't know who that is, sorry. Oh wait, is she the Celtic Woman singer? Isn't she from Celtic Woman? If it is, she's actually my favorite Celtic Woman singer, but she's who I think she is. My desk has wheels on the bottom, and I almost just rolled it into the that would have been really bad because I'm leaning on it. Yes, oh, that is Lisa Kelly. Okay, she sings that song, The Voice. That's so, oh my gosh, it's like magical. I think Katelyn would have really liked it. I wonder if she ever watched The Voice. What about the 10 words for Katelyn? I'm so sorry, but I really don't know what 10 words is. I feel like I should. The 10 words. Do you know what that is, Cherokee?
Probably a song. Sounds like I don't know, but it's probably a song.
Is that what it is, Courtney? Scroll up. Okay. I don't see anything referring to 10
Oh,
words.
10 words for her. The 10 months we have missed her.
Oh, I like that. Is there a way? Did you make the event page? Because if you did, then you could add that in there for everybody to do that. I've been a major fan of Lisa for years. I feel like too would be good if everybody Oh wow, that's so cool of your connection with Lisa, Anthony. I'm gonna turn off the timer because it's about to go off and it'll be really loud. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I feel like too on the event page if everybody could like post like their stories because Cherokee had some really touching stories on suicide, and if anybody had stories like that they wanted to come out with, or bullying or artwork that dealt with Katelyn, anything like that, I feel like would be really cool to, because a lot of people like they keep it to themselves, but I feel like if it was like a mass, like a bunch of people doing it at once, then I'm making it when we are done here. Okay, awesome. Because I feel like too that girl in the makeup group, I feel like she should really know about Katelyn's case and she should join our stuff. I feel like she needs y'all. I feel like she needs y'all to know y'all because y'all are aware of bullying and y'all are aware of suicide and depression, and she needs to meet y'all. Yeah, awareness. Because these are thousands of girls who comment on her stuff and call her an attention whore, even though this has been going on over a year, and y'all would understand what I'm talking about. It is not just for show. Like, y'all would understand, and I'm worried that she is gonna take her life, and I feel like she needs y'all.
Who are you talking about?
This girl in this makeup group, this girl in this makeup group I'm in on Facebook that has thousands of girls, like she's the moderator for it, but she's always posting live streams and videos and pictures and stuff of her cutting herself and crying and how she hates herself and she hates her life and she's a failure as a mom and she wants to die, and she's posted herself in the hospital before on video, and this has been going on now for over a year, and nobody, I mean, there are some very big-hearted people in the group that like send her love and stuff, but the majority of the people just call her an attention whore because they don't, either because they're sociopathic bitches, excuse my French, or because they don't really understand depression. Oh,
Courtney, look at the heart.
so like, I think I'm gonna introduce her to you, Courtney. I'll just be like, this is a friend I have that I feel like you should talk to, and because she has like no one.
Courtney saves lives. I can definitely tell you that for sure.
Yeah, I can attest. Okay. So, if anybody has anything else they'd like to say or questions, because I have to get going here soon. We're both mommies, and Celeste, watch this, please.
So this next song is very, very.
Oh wait, okay. I'll play that while I'm like cleaning and stuff. Oh, that's Lisa Kelly. Okay. There was a man from Tunisia who was renting my mom's upstairs, and he was obsessed with her. He would say that she had an angel face because, like, for some reason he thought his own Tunisian look in women wasn't pretty. I don't know why I just said that. Okay, well, I'm gonna get going. I feel like so wait, okay, so these are the things. We're gonna do that petition. We're gonna do the petition to get it moved to Atlanta, right? Because that hasn't been done. I am still going to contact whomever. So if Polk County gives me the runaround, I'm going to contact Cedartown about the evidence with Cherokee, because that is undeniable, factual. He is a predator right now. It's been proven. What else? Okay, in the event page, I'm going to be looking for the event page. Cherokee, you're friends with Courtney on there, so we'll all be a part of that. Chris, eat the plate. I became a fan. That's cool. And anything I'm missing? So anybody watching, there's going to be an event. Do you know what the event page is going to be called, Courtney, so that they can go find it? And thank you very much, Cherokee, for coming on. I know it was like really difficult to get to pin me down, and thanks for being really patient, because you've been really patient. It's been like a while.
Oh, I understand. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Courtney, are you still in here?
She might be typing. This is not my regular voice. This is my sick voice.
I actually think it sounds cute, raspy. Okay, so it's called Katelyn's Wave of Light, and it will be a public group. And that's going to be, you said the event's going to be, y'all who know about Katelyn, I don't even need to explain why it's going to be on the 30th of December. It will be public. I think I already said that. Okay, yeah. The more, the merrier. And who knows, maybe it'll be such a beautiful, huge thing that finally news outlets like outside of Georgia will grasp how much this matters to a lot of people. Excuse me, October 30th, 6 p.m., not December, October 30th, 6 p.m., Cedartown time. I'm not sure what is Cedartown time Central. So just so y'all know, Katelyn loved Halloween. Y'all already know she loved music, she loved art. So whatever you want to put into the event. And it's going to be a wave of light, like it's like the name of it, where we're going to light a candle for her. Or mini candles. Eastern. Yes. Okay, oops, sorry. It's Eastern time. Or wait, is it? What were you saying yes to, Courtney? Central or Eastern? It is
Eastern.
Eastern. Okay, so it's Eastern time at 6 p.m., October 30th, and it's called Wave of Light. Please be there, even if you're shy and you've never spoken out about stuff. And just, it would be awesome if it was like one of the biggest Facebook events ever. Yes, on Eastern. Okay, so that's 2 p.m. for you in Alaska. All right. Well, I'm going to get going. Thanks to everyone who's in the chat. And again, thank you, Cherokee. I hope that this, okay, yes. I'm just making sure I clicked to YouTube to share to YouTube. Okay, good. All right, well, we might chat again. So
Alrighty.
thank you, Cherokee.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
All right, and people can post videos and go live too. Yes, okay, that would be awesome. So Courtney just said people in the group Wave of Light will also be able to post videos and even go live. So while you're lighting the candle, if you have something you want to say, by all means, please do. I want the nation to recognize Katelyn, and the more people, the more that's going to happen. So let's do this. Anthony P said bye. Bye, Anthony. Thank you for coming out and sharing really, really hard things to share. Okay. Woo, yeah, I really have to go. All right, Courtney, thank you so much. Sorry that I wasn't able to plan ahead and like tell people that I was even going to be here because I didn't expect to be here right now. All right, bye. I feel like there should always be something that when we're like leaving that we say about Katelyn, like just something every single time. Justice for Katelyn. All right, bye.